Okay, so let's start the today's session. In the last session, we have finished with the problems on first law of thermodynamics for a closed system. Okay, so by the last lecture, we have finished the problems on closed system. Okay, now from this lecture onwards, okay, initially we will understand what is the first law of thermodynamics for an open system, right? From today's lecture onward, we will understand the first law of thermodynamics for an open system, followed by the problems on open system. Okay, so in order to go to the first law of thermodynamics for an open system, okay, initially you should understand what is flow work. Okay, what is flow work or flow energy? What is flow work or flow energy? Okay, this is the term which you should be able to understand. Okay, then it will help you in understanding the first law for an open system. Okay, first law for an open system. Okay, now let's consider. Okay, let's consider. Okay, see, I'll just draw a open system. Okay, where I have some inlet port. Okay, at the same time I have some outlet port. Okay, so this is the inlet port and this is the outlet port. Okay, so this is basically an open system where through this end, okay, some fluid will come. Okay, I'll just highlight that through this end the fluid will come. Okay, and through other end the fluid will leave. Through other end the fluid will leave. Okay, so this is an open system. Okay, where you have some mass is entering and some mass is leaving. Okay, now see, if you just see whatever the volume that is present inside this system, okay, that volume will be limiting the volume. Okay, so we'll be limiting that volume. I will draw some boundary for the volume. Okay, I will just draw some boundary for the volume. Okay, and that thing I will call it as control volume. Okay, so this is nothing but the boundary for the volume. Okay, so whatever the fluid which is present inside this system will be restricted to this boundary. Okay, so whatever the fluid, it might be water or it might be air, which is present inside this system will be restricted to this particular boundary. Okay, by this boundary, and this is your nothing but a control volume. I will call this as a control volume. Okay, so this is nothing but control volume. Okay, so I'll be limiting the volume which is inside this system by drawing some boundary. Okay, and that boundary I will call it as control surface. Okay, that boundary I will call it as control surface. So this control surface, it is nothing but a boundary, right? It is nothing but a boundary. Okay, which separates the fluid from the wall. Okay, so this is nothing but your wall, right? This is a wall of the system. Okay, so this boundary, it separates the fluid from the wall. Okay, so that is nothing but a control surface. Okay, and this is nothing but your control volume, right? So through this end the fluid will enter, through this end the fluid will leave, right? Now see what we will do. Listen, if you want to maintain the continuous flow inside this system, you should have some mass which is entering. Similarly, some mass should leave. Okay, this is the only when you can maintain the continuity. Okay, so if you want the some mass to enter, obviously some mass has to leave. Okay, also vice versa is possible. When the some mass will leave, then only some amount of mass will enter. Okay, so entering and leaving, it is required. Okay, then only you will be able to maintain the continuity. Okay, now let's say that. Okay, let us consider only this part. Okay, let us consider this part. Okay, let us consider this part of the inlet. Let us consider this part of the inlet. Okay, so obviously this is nothing but what? This is nothing but a fluid. Okay, just consider this part of the fluid. Okay, because through this end the fluid will enter, through this end fluid will leave. You just consider this part of the fluid, this part of the fluid. Now try to understand. If you want this part of the fluid, if you want this part of, see, if you just want this part of the fluid, okay, if you want this part of the fluid to come inside, if you want this part of the fluid to come inside, okay, see, then some part, okay, I'll just highlight it. Okay, then this part of the fluid, I will just highlight it with different color. Okay, Okay, let me draw first diagram. Okay, see, if you want this part of the fluid to enter in the system, obviously this part should exert some force on this. Okay, until and unless this green colored part will exert some force on this red color part, then only the red color part will come inside. Okay, then only the red color part will come inside. See, this green color and red color, they are nothing but your fluid, right? So if you want this red part of the fluid to come inside, obviously green part of the fluid should exert some force on the red part, then only the red part will come inside. Okay, in the similar manner, try to understand. If you want this red part, if you want this red part of the fluid, okay, to go outside, if you want this red part of the fluid to go outside, okay, the green part, okay, let us draw me this green part. So this green part has to exert some force, right? This green part has to exert some force on the red part, then only the red part of the fluid will go outside, right? Is it okay? Are you able to understand this one? Try to understand. If you want this red part to come inside, obviously this green part should push him. Okay, similarly, if you want this red part to go outside, the green part should push him again. Okay, so see this green part we will call it as imaginary piston. Try to understand. So this we will call it as imaginary piston. This green part we will call it as imaginary piston. Similarly, this green part, it is again a imaginary piston. It's again an imaginary piston. Green part, it is nothing but our imaginary piston, which exerts a force on the red part. So red part will go outside. Okay, here the red part will come inside, here the red part will go outside. Okay, so green part, it is nothing but our imaginary piston, right? Now, if you want to, or we are interested to calculate the work, right? What do we want? We want work. Okay, see, if you want to calculate work, and that work, it's basically the flow work. Okay, see, it's a flow work. Okay, and that flow work, it is required to maintain the continuous flow. Okay, the flow work, it is required so as to maintain the continuous flow, and this basically comes inside a open system, because in open system you have inlet, you have outlet. Okay, so amount of mass entering should be equal to amount of mass leaving, right? Mass should enter with the same rate, it should go out with the same rate. Let's say mass, let's say 5 kg of mass, it is entering per second. Try to understand. Let's say 5 kg of mass, it is entering per second. So similarly, 5 kg of mass should leave per second. Okay, so let's say mass, it is entering at a rate of 5 kg per second. So same, with the same amount the mass should leave, then only the continuity will be maintained, right? So let us calculate the value of flow work. So in order to calculate the value of flow work, see, flow work, simply work, it is nothing but force into displacement. Try to understand. Work, it is nothing but force into displacement. Okay, so let's say that, okay, this green red color mass has displaced by distance L. Okay, let us say that. Let's say that, okay, this red colored part has displaced through distance dx. Okay, so work is equal to force into displacement. Okay, so force into L. Okay, force into L, that is force into displacement, because this red part is get displaced by distance L. Okay, now see, if you want, now see, work is nothing but force into displacement. Now for that we should know force. Okay, so force, how you calculate force? It is nothing but a pressure into area, right? How you will calculate force? Force, it is equal to pressure into area. Okay, so this green part, okay, how much force this green part will exert on the red part? Okay, and that force exerted will be, okay, is equal to pressure into area. Okay, so it will depends upon what pressure the green part is having into on what area it is acting. Okay, so force exerted by the green part, on the red part is given by pressure into area, right? So force is pressure into area. How will calculate work? Work is force into displacement. So let's calculate it. So force is pressure into area into again length. Okay, so is equal to P into, see, area into length is volume, right? Area into length is volume. Okay, so flow work is given by pressure into pressure into volume. Okay, now see, if you just check for the units, if you just check for the unit, okay, pressure you know it in kilonewton. Okay, pressure you can have in kilonewton. Yeah, yeah.
वॉल्यूम क्यों लिखे? वॉल्यूम
Yeah,
यस सर, ठंडा A into L V ना सर?
Can you repeat the question?
सर A into L V होगा क्या?
See, force is see, work is given by force into displacement. Work is given by force into displacement. Now, what is force? You can see pressure into area. Force is pressure into area into L as it is, right? Now, what is area into length? It is nothing but a volume.
Okay, sir.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So pressure will be in kilonewton per meter square, and volume will be in meter cube. Okay, volume will be in meter cube, right? Pressure is in kilonewton per meter square, volume it is in meter cube. So what unit you will get? You will get it as kilonewton into meter. Okay, and kilonewton per meter, it is nothing but a kilojoule. Kilonewton per meter, it is nothing but a kilojoule. Okay, is that okay? See, on the similar hand, okay, if you just take the pressure, try to understand. I just take in pressure. If you just take the pressure in, let's say, same in the kilonewton per meter square, just take the pressure in the same unit, kilonewton per meter square. But if you take the volume in meter cube per kg, okay, if you just take the volume in meter cube per kg, and volume which is written in a meter cube per kg, it is specific volume. Okay, if you want, I will just do that. Okay, so see here, so is equal to P into small v. Okay, small v, it is nothing but a specific volume. Small v, it is nothing but a specific volume. So how you will get small v? It is capital V by mass. Okay, when you divide this capital V by mass, okay, capital V by mass, it becomes small v. Okay, so what unit you will get? You will get kilo Newton meter, okay, by kg. Okay, that is nothing but kilojoule per kg. That is nothing but kilojoule per kg, right? Is it okay, all of you? Are you able to understand this one? Have you understood this one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So see, now if this has been understood, okay, then only we can move to our first law of thermodynamics for an open system. Okay, so let's see. Okay, first law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics for open system. Now try to understand. See, what is the meaning of open? Open, it is nothing but a flow system, right? Open, that means what? There is a flow. Some mass is entering, some mass is leaving. There is a flow. That's why it is called as flow system, right? So now we will see first law of thermodynamics for a open system, or that is basically known as flow system. Okay, so what I will do, I will just draw the same diagram here. Okay, as now what I have drawn. Okay, so I will just draw the same diagram. Okay, so let's see this diagram. Okay, so see, let's consider this system. Let us consider this system. Okay, so this is a system. Okay, so now I will just draw the control volume. Okay, so I will just draw the boundary for the volume. Okay, and that I will be indicating. Okay, so see, so whatever the volume that is present inside, it is nothing but a control volume. It is a control volume, right? Now this boundary, okay, it is nothing but a control surface. Right? This is nothing but a control surface. Okay, now see, let's say that, okay, see, this is having some inlet port, this is having some outlet port. So what we'll do, we will indicate the inlet port. Try to understand. We will indicate the inlet port as 1 1. Okay, so 1 1 is our inlet. Okay, 1 1 is the inlet. Similarly, we will have 2 2. Okay, this is 2. This is 2 as outlet. Okay, so 1 is the inlet and 2 is the outlet. Okay, so you can consider 1 as an inlet and 2 as outlet, right? Now let's see. 1 is the inlet and 2 is outlet. Now see, let's consider that. Okay, let us consider, okay, this ground. Okay, let's consider this ground. Okay, so this is basically the ground position, right? This is ground, or this is also called as a datum. Okay, ground position, or this is nothing but your datum position. Okay, now let's say from this datum, this inlet, it is at a distance, Z1. Let us say that inlet, it is at a distance Z1. Similarly, let's consider that the outlet, okay, this is the outlet, right? So this outlet, it is at a distance Z2. Okay, so Z1 and Z2, they are the location of inlet and outlet from the ground or from the datum position, right? Now let's see that, okay, let P1, okay, okay, be the pressure, V1 be the volume, C1 be the velocity, okay, and H1 be the enthalpy at the inlet. Let's consider, see, pressure, volume, velocity, and enthalpy at the inlet. Okay, similarly, okay, let's consider that P2, okay, try to understand. See, P2, V2, C2, and H2, they are the enthalpy, pressure, volume, velocity, and enthalpy at the outlet. See, if you just want, okay, I will just write down here, okay, what is P? Okay, so if you talk about P is nothing but a pressure, right? P is a pressure, right? What is V? V, it's a volume. Okay, what is C? C, it's the velocity. C is the velocity, right? And what is H? Okay, H, it is nothing but enthalpy. H is the enthalpy, right? So we'll have pressure, volume, velocity, and enthalpy at the inlet and at the outlet, right? So now say for this particular system, let's say for this particular system, okay, let's consider here. To this particular system, let's say we are supplying Q dot amount of heat. Okay, try to understand. To this particular system, we are supplying how much heat? We are supplying Q dot amount of heat we are supplying. So as a result of this Q dot, let's say we are getting W dot SH amount of work. Okay, we are getting W dot SH amount of work, right? So as a result of Q dot amount of heat supplied, okay, out of Q dot, some amount get converted into work. Okay, so see how much heat transfer is there. Heat transfer is Q dot, and how much work transfer is there? That is W dot SH. Okay, you might have doubt, sir, what is SH? It's a shaft work. Okay, shaft, SH stands for shaft and W stands for work. Okay, so it is nothing but a shaft work. Okay, it is nothing but a shaft. Try to understand. It is nothing but a shaft. Is it okay? Is it okay or not? Now see, many of you have doubt, sir, why you written it as a Q dot? Why you written it as a Q dot? Okay, now see, if I return it as a Q, if I write down it as a Q, your unit for the Q will be either kilojoule. Unit for the Q will be kilojoule. Try to understand. When you write down it as a capital Q, unit will be kilojoule. Okay, but when you write down it as a small q, its unit will be kilojoule per kg. Try to understand, all of you. This you already know. When you convert any capital letter into small letter, it becomes, okay, its unit will be in terms of per kg, right? So q, it is in kilojoule. Okay, but when you divide this kilojoule by mass, that is kg, it becomes small, right? Now question will be, what is q dot? Okay, that is a question. So q dot, unit for q dot will be in kilojoule per second. Try to understand. See, this you understand. Whenever it is small q, it is kilojoule per kg. And whenever it is q dot, okay, q dot, it is kilojoule per second. You can observe it. Q, it is in kilojoule. Small q, it is in kilojoule per kg. Okay, and capital Q dot, it is nothing but kilojoule per second, right? Same thing is going to happen with W dot SH. Okay, same it is applicable to W dot SH. Okay, see, when you write down this as WSH, unit will be kilojoule. Okay, unit will be kilojoule. When you write down this as a W, okay, small WSH, see, this is small WSH. Okay, so unit will be in kilojoule per kg. Okay, but when you make it as W dot SH, okay, your unit will be in kilojoule per second. Your unit will be in kilojoule per second. Try to understand. So whenever it is capital, it is kilojoule. Whenever it is small, it is kilojoule per kg. But whenever it is dot, it is kilojoule per second, right? Because this dot, it stands for flow system. And what is the meaning of that dot? I will let you. Okay. So see all of you. Okay. See all of you. Try to understand. Huh? See, for closed system, okay, here some understanding is required. See, when we are seeing closed system, for closed system we have mass. Try to understand. For closed system, what we have mass, which is indicated by M. Okay, for a closed system we have a mass which is indicated by M. Okay, but for open system, try to understand, we have mass flow rate. We have mass flow rate, which is indicated by M dot. See, for closed system, we have only mass. Why we only have mass? Because in closed system, mass was not entering, mass was not leaving. So whatever the mass was there was fixed. Mass was fixed, right? Whatever the mass was there was fixed. But in open system, what is happening? Mass is entering and mass is leaving. So mass flow rate is fixed. Okay, try to understand. In closed system, if you see, mass is fixed. Try to understand. In closed system, okay, mass is fixed. Similarly, for open system, I will look at mass flow rate is fixed. Okay, see, this difference you should be able to understand. In closed system, mass is fixed because it's a close. There was no inlet, there was no outlet. So mass was fixed. But in open system, okay, though there is inlet and outlet, mass flow rate is fixed. That means what? Let's say 10 kg is entering per second. See, all of you see what I told you. See, in a closed system, mass is fixed. Try to understand. In a closed system, see, the system is closed. Okay, so the system is closed. It means what? Okay, there is no inlet, there is no outlet. That means whatever the mass is there, it is fixed. Okay. Now this system, it is open system. That means what? There is inlet, there is outlet. Okay, so some mass has to enter, some mass has to leave. Okay, but the rate at which mass is entering, at the same time rate at which the mass is leaving, it is same. That means, let's say 10 kg is entering per second. So similarly, 10 kg should leave per second. It will not happen that 10 kg is entering and 5 kg is leaving. Okay, it will not happen. Understood? So if it happens, there will be mismatch of the flow. Okay, there will be mismatch of the flow. Is that okay, all of you? Have you understood this? Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, is that okay? Is that okay, all of you? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, now let us start deriving it. Okay, let us start. Okay, so for derivation, what I will do, I will just apply basic equation. Okay, and that basic equation is energy leaving the system Okay, so energy entering the system is equal to energy entering the system is equal to energy leaving the system, right? Energy leaving system, right? So whatever the amount of energy that will enter the system, okay, the same amount of energy should leave the system. This is nothing but the law of conservation of energy, right? Energy cannot be created and energy cannot be destroyed. It can be only transformed from one form to another, right? So energy cannot, whatever the amount of energy is entering, same amount of energy will leave. Okay, now try to understand. Okay, what you are supplied? You are supplied heat, right? What you are supplied? You are supplied heat. Okay, so energy it is entering in the form of heat. Try to understand. Energy it is entering in the form of heat. So how much heat is entering? Q dot is entering. Okay, and how the energy is leaving? Okay, so energy is leaving in the form of what? Work. Okay, so energy it is leaving in the form of work. Try to understand. Energy has entered in the form of heat because we have supplied the heat. So as we have supplied the heat, we are getting work. Okay, so energy it is entering in the form of heat, it is leaving in the form of work, right? Now try to understand. Okay, so see, as you can see, see our inlet it is at distance what? Z1 from the ground. Similarly, outlet it is at a distance Z2 from the ground. See, this is inlet and this is outlet. Inlet it is at a distance Z1 from the ground. Outlet it is at a distance Z2 from the ground, right? So see, they have some height from the ground. Okay, both inlet and outlet have some height from the ground. That means there will be some potential energy. Okay, so that means potential energy at inlet, okay, plus potential energy at outlet. Try to understand. Potential energy at the inlet, and here you have potential energy at the outlet. Okay, now see, in addition to the potential energy, as you can see, inlet it is having velocity c1, at the outlet we are having velocity c2. Okay, at the inlet and outlet we have the velocities. Okay, so whenever there is velocity, there will be obviously the kinetic energy. Okay, so I will just write down this as kinetic energy at the inlet. Okay, here I will write down as kinetic energy at the outlet. Okay, see, this Q is supplied and the Q gets converted into work. This potential energy, okay, this is due to the height from the ground. This kinetic energy, it is due to the velocity at the inlet and the outlet. Okay, in addition to this kinetic energy, okay, we also have internal energy. We also have the internal energy at the inlet and outlet. Okay, so that I will write down these are internal energy at the inlet. Okay, and here I will write down that internal energy at the outlet. Try to understand. Obviously, every system possesses some internal energy. So this is internal energy at the inlet, internal energy at the outlet. Okay, now as I explain in this derivation, okay, this, if you want this mass to come inside, okay, this mass should exert some force on this part, then only this part will come inside. Similarly, if you want this part to go outside, this part should exert some force on this part, then only this part will go outside, right? And that is nothing but a flow work, right? That is nothing but a flow work or flow energy. So similar case is required here, right? So what I will write down here is, I will just write it down here as flow work, okay, at the inlet, and I will write down this as flow work at the outlet. Okay, so let me know, is there any doubt in this equation which I've written? Is there any doubt? Let me know, is there any doubt? Is there any doubt with this equation which I've written now? Is there any doubt? Let me know, you can respond. Okay, is there any doubt all of you facing in this equation which I've written? Because see, if you understand this equation, then only we can do the further calculations, right? Now, so what I'll do, I will just bring this term W dot SH on the left hand side. So this Q dot minus W dot SH is equal to, see, this q dot minus w dot sh. Rest of the everything I will bring it on the right hand side. Okay, so let us see what we'll get. We'll get it as pe2 dot minus pe1 dot. Okay, so this is the first term what we are getting, plus, okay, second term I will just write down this as ke2 dot minus ke1 dot. Okay, plus I will just write down the next term, ie2 dot minus ie1 dot. Okay, plus last time I will write down this as wf2 dot plus wf1 dot. Is it okay? Yes or no? See, this term I bring it on here, and the rest of the everything I think I'm putting on a right hand side. Right? So what I will get, see, q dot minus w dot sh. See, try to understand. Now this is very important. Q dot minus w dot sh is equal to, see, this is nothing but change in potential energy, right? This is nothing but change in potential energy. Is it okay or not? This is nothing but a change in potential energy. Okay, so this change in potential energy dot, okay, dot, I will just write down this as m dot. Try to understand. See, this is nothing but change in potential energy. So this I will write down this as m dot into pe2 minus pe1. Try to understand. M dot into pe2 minus pe1. See, when you remove this dot, what do you mean by dot? That I will let you know. Okay, plus. Okay, so you just see this equation what I'm writing. M dot into ke2 dot, sorry, ke2 minus ke1, ke2 minus ke1. Okay, plus m dot into ie2 minus ie1. Okay, plus last term now I will write down m dot into wf2 minus wf1. See, here in this equation you can see I have taken m dot common. Now what is the meaning of that m dot? Try to understand. Okay, now this is the thing where you need to pay the more attention. Okay, try to understand. See this q dot, w dot. See, what is the meaning of dot? You can see dot. What is the unit for dot? Kilojoule per second. What is the unit for w dot? It is again kilojoule per second. So this is kilojoule per second, right? This is again kilojoule per second. Is equal to, now try to understand, is equal to, okay, what is the unit for potential energy? Potential energy, right? So potential energy obviously will be in, okay, this will be in kilojoule per kg, right? Kilojoule per kg. This will be in kilojoule per kg. Okay, now see here, left hand side is kilojoule per second, right hand side is kilojoule per kg. It should not be, both the sides should be equal. So what I will do, when I multiply it by kg per second, try to understand, when I multiply it by kg per second, so what happens is, okay, kg gets cancelled. What is remaining? It's kilojoule per second. What is remaining is kilojoule per second. And what is this kg per second? It is nothing but a mass flow rate. Okay, so see, mass, it is indicated by kg, where mass flow rate, it is indicated by kg per second, right? Mass flow rate, that is m dot, it is indicated by kg per second. Okay, so that is unit for mass flow rate I have taken, kg per second. See, dot, see, you can see dot and dot. Unit for the dot is kilojoule per second, right? So kilojoule per second. Now, if I want to make left hand side to be equal to right hand side, so just check it. For this one, what is the unit? Kilojoule per kg. Okay, so in order to equalize the unit, I need to multiply it by kg per second, and kg per second, it is nothing but mass flow rate, right? Similar thing will happen here. Okay, so plus again kg per second into kilojoule per kg, right? So again kg gets cancelled. Again plus kg per second, okay, plus kg per second into, again this term will be in kilojoule per kg, right? Again plus, again this is again in kg per second. You can check wherever there is mass flow rate, it is kg per second, and into again kilojoule per kg, right? So again kg gets cancelled here, kg gets cancelled. You can check it, all of it, right? So see, this is how the unit work. Okay. Now see from this equation, what I will do, I will just take m dot common. Okay, I will just take m dot common. So let's see. So q dot minus w dot sh is equal to m dot. I will take it common from all the equation. I will take m dot common. So now what is remaining? Okay, what is remaining is m dot. Okay, or let me write down first this m dot into see Pe2 minus Pe1. It is change in potential energy plus again m dot as it is. This m dot as it is. Ke2 minus Ke1. It is change in kinetic energy, right? Again plus m dot as it is. This m dot as it is. IE2 minus IE1. It is change in internal energy, right? And change in internal energy we used to indicate by delta U. How we used to indicate? We used to indicate by delta U plus m dot as it is. Okay, change in flow work. Okay, we will indicate it by delta WF. Delta WF, right? We will indicate by delta WF. Try to understand. Change in internal energy. Okay, that is delta U. Change in work. That is WF. Okay, so this is change in kinetic energy. This is change in potential energy. Now what I will do? I will just take m dot common. So when I take m dot common, what I'm getting these are the delta PE plus delta KE plus delta U. Okay, plus delta U. You can check it plus delta U plus delta WF. Just check it. That's delta U plus delta WF. Okay. Delta U plus delta WF. Okay, now see all of you. So I will just rewrite this equation as q dot minus w dot sh is equal to m dot into what? Delta PE that is change in potential energy plus delta KE that is change in kinetic energy plus you can see delta U. Okay, how you write down delta U? Okay, see delta U plus delta WF, it is called as delta H. Try to understand. This is nothing but called as delta H. Try to understand. It is called as delta H. Is it okay? Delta U plus delta WF, it is called as delta H. From where it is came? See, you can see this. I will just explain here. H is equal to, see, this is I am doing it rough. H is equal to U plus PV. Says or no? H is equal to U plus PV. Okay. So H is equal to U plus PV. What is PV? Just we have seen. See, P into V, it is WF. Okay. P plus V. This, it is WF. Right? WF flow work. Then what is delta H? So delta H, it is nothing but delta U plus delta WF. Yes or no? Let me know. So delta H is equal to delta U plus delta WF. Are you able to get this one or not? Let me know. Have you understood this equation? All of you, have you understood this equation? Let me know. Have you understood this equation? Is it okay? So let us call this equation number 1 and let this call as equation number 2. So these two equations are very important. These two equations are very important to us, right? Now let us solve this. Let us solve this. Okay. See, all of you see here now. Okay. Now what I will do? See, are you able to understand this equation 1 and 2? Let me know. Are you understand equation 1 and 2? You can respond. All of you can respond. Okay. So see this equation 1 and 2, this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. They are called as, see, this is a very important statement, are called as, okay, they are called as steady flow energy equation. They are called as steady flow energy equation on time basis. Try to understand. This is very important. They are called as steady flow energy equation on time basis. Why they are called as on time basis? Because see, you can see unit dot. Whenever there is dot, it indicates that it is per second. See dot. What is the meaning of dot? You can see What is q dot? It is per second. You can see in the denominator we have seconds. So it considers the time. That's why it is called as steady flow energy equation on a time basis. You can see unit for the q dot, unit for the w dot, unit for the m dot. Okay, it is per second. Okay, so that's why they are called as steady flow energy equation on time basis. Okay, now let us divide. Okay, let us divide. So what I will do now, I will divide the equation. Okay, now here all of you pay the attention. Okay, now I will divide. Okay, I'll just write down here, dividing equation. I will divide the equation 1 by mass, okay, or by m dot. I will divide this equation number 1 by m dot. I will divide this equation number 1 by m dot. Let us see what we get. Okay, so let's consider this equation number 1. I will divide by m dot. This is q dot by m dot minus w dot sh by m dot, okay, is equal to, you can see, is equal to m dot by m dot into this term will remain as it is, right? So delta PE plus delta KE, okay, plus delta U plus delta WF plus delta WF. Try to understand. Delta PE, delta KE plus delta U plus delta WF. So it will remain as it is. Now let us see what units we are getting here, right? So see, capital Q dot by m dot. Okay, let us see. Let us check for the units. Unit for the q dot. See, you can see the unit for the q dot. I already told you, kilojoule per second, right? Unit is kilojoule per second. So this is kilojoule per second divide by m dot. You can check for the unit for m dot. It's a kg per second. It's a kg per second, right? Similarly, w dot sh, it is again kilojoule per second divided by m dot. Again, this is kg per second. So E is given by m dot gets cancelled. What is remaining? This term. Okay, delta PE plus delta KE plus delta U plus delta WF. So you can check their units. Okay, you can check what is the unit for delta PE. It is kilojoule per kg. Delta KE kilojoule per kg. Delta U kilojoule per kg. Delta WF kilojoule per kg. So unit here is kilojoule per kg. Okay, for all these, what is unit? It's a kilojoule per kg, right? For all these, what is unit? Kilojoule per kg. Let us see where we are getting or not. So this second gets cancelled. This second, again, this second gets cancelled. What is remaining? Kilojoule per kg. Kilojoule per kg is equal to kilojoule per kg, right? Yes or no? So see, whenever anything, when you divide by mass, it becomes small. Okay, so this capital Q by m dot, I will write down this as small q. Try to understand. This capital Q by m dot, I will write down as small q. Capital W dot sh by m dot, I will write down this as small WSH. See, this is small. I have written. Small WSH is equal to m dot gets cancelled. What is remaining? It's delta PE plus delta KE plus delta U. Okay, plus delta WF, right? Plus delta WF. Try to understand. Okay, Q minus WSH is equal to delta P plus delta KE plus delta U plus delta WF. Okay, now see, this is the equation. So this Q minus WSH is given by, this is small w, is equal to delta PE plus delta KE plus, now this delta U plus delta WF. Okay, it is, okay, see, delta U plus delta WF is delta H. Both are capital. So now these both are small. Okay, so this becomes small h. Okay? Here it was capital H, here it is small h. Okay, so let me write down this equation number 3. This is equation number 3. This is equation number 4. Again, equation number 3 and 4, they are very important. So see, equation number 3 and 4, okay, they are called as steady flow energy equation, on mass basis. They are called as steady flow energy equation on the mass basis. Now, why they are called it as mass basis? Because you can check for the unit. What is the unit for here? Kilojoule per kg, kilojoule per kg. So in the denominator, you have kg term. In the denominator, you have kg term. That's why it is mass basis. Okay. When in the denominator, you have seconds term, you can check it. Seconds term, in the denominator, when you have second term, it is on time basis. When you have in the denominator kg term, it is on mass basis. Is it okay? Let me know. Is it okay or not? Let me know. Is it okay or not? Is it clear? Okay, so let me now explain each and every term here. Okay, let me explain here each and every term. Okay, now see here. What is this Q dot? What is Q dot? Let me start with this equation. I'll explain 1, 2, 3, 4. What is Q dot? I will just write it. Q dot is the amount of heat transfer. Okay, so I'll just write down heat transfer. See this Q dot. Q dot, it is heat transfer, and unit will be in kilojoule per second. Okay, Q dot is a heat transfer, which is in kilojoule per second. What is W dot SH? W dot SH, it is work transfer, right? Work transfer, or also known as shaft work. So this is work transfer. Again, unit will be same because both are subtracting, right? So unit will be kilojoule per second. Let's go to M dot. Okay, let's go to the next term, M dot. M dot, it is nothing but a mass flow rate, as mentioned before. Mass flow rate. Okay, so mass flow rate, unit will be in kg per second, right? For mass flow rate, our unit is in kg per second. What is delta PE? Change in potential energy, right? So delta PE, it is nothing but change in potential energy. And how you calculate potential energy? Okay, mgh. You can see how you will calculate potential energy. M, okay, potential energy, it is calculated as m into g into h. Okay, so it is change in potential energy. So I'll write down as gz2 minus gz1 upon 1000. Try to understand. You might have filtered from where this formula has been come. See, you can see change in potential energy. How you calculate change in potential energy, or basically what is potential energy? Okay, potential energy, it is m into g into h. So m, it is already taken common. What is remaining? G into h. So what is h? It's a height. So we want change. So height at the outlet, okay, g into z2 at the outlet minus g into z1 at the outlet, inlet, right? So this is the potential energy at the outlet. This is the potential energy at the inlet. So this is change in potential energy. See, what is change in potential energy? Potential energy at the outlet minus potential energy at the inlet. So what is potential energy at the outlet? M into G into H. Okay, so that is M into G into Z2 minus M into G into Z1, right? M, it is already taken common, right? So that's why I'm not considering here. Now, why it is divided by 1000? Because if you see the unit of G, it is in meter per second square. Unit of G, it is in meter per second square. You can see everything we are having in kilo. Okay, everything we have it in kilo. So we need to convert that meter per second square into kilometer per second square. We need to convert this into kilometer per second square. That's why we are dividing it by 1000. Okay, so again, unit will be kilojoule per kg. Kilojoule per kg. Right? Kilojoule per kg. Okay, this is change in potential energy. Now change in kinetic energy. Let us calculate change in kinetic energy. Okay, how you calculate change in kinetic energy? Half into mv square, right? Half into mv square, right? Half. So I will write down here half, 1 by half, m into v square, right? So you can take, you can see mass is already taken common. Okay, so half m it is already taken common, v square, that is velocity square. So I will write down this as c2 square minus c1 square, right? Okay, so this is the c2 square by 2. It's the velocity kinetic energy at the outlet. C1 square by 2, it's okay. C1 square by 2, it's the kinetic energy at the inlet. So their difference is C2 square minus C1 square divided by again 2000. Because I want this in it will be in kilojoule per kg. See, ideally, what is formula? Half. So it is written half. M it is already taken common. V square, that is C2 square minus C1 square. Now, why it is 1000? Why it is divided by 1000? Same like this. Okay, I want this to be in kilojoule per kg. Okay, so that is about delta K. Let us talk about delta U. Delta U. Okay, so delta U. So formula for delta U, I will write delta U. Okay, so let's write down delta U. So it is given by, you know that it is M. M it is already taken common. You can check it. M it is already taken common. So formula is CV into T2 minus T1. You can check it. You can see this formula for change in internal energy. It is CV into T2 minus T1. Okay, M CV T2 minus T1. So M it is already taken common. Okay, now see what is delta WF? Delta WF. Okay, that is nothing but a flow work. Okay, WF. See what is WF? What is WF? See, you can see it. What is delta WF? Delta WF, it is nothing but a delta PV, right? Delta WF, it is nothing but delta PV. You can check it just the time before I told you, na? Okay, see it. This is derivation. All of you can see this derivation. Okay, WF is P into V. Then what is delta WF? It is delta PV, right? So that only I'll write down. So I'll just write down these are the delta PV. Okay, and what is delta PV? Okay, how will you write down delta PV? We will write down this as, okay, P2 V2 minus P1 V1, right? This is P2 V2 minus P1 V1, right? So delta WF, it is given by delta WF, it is given by P2 V2 minus P1 V1. Okay, so see, in equation this all are known. Again, what is the meaning delta H? Let us calculate what is that delta H. So delta H, it is given by Cp into T2 minus T1. See, this is the formula, delta H, Cp into T2 minus T1. See, formula for you is Cv into T2 minus T1. Delta H, it is Cp into T2 minus T1. Okay, so this formula I already explained you. So this will be in kilojoule per kg. Again, this will be in kilojoule per kg. Again, this will be again in kilojoule per kg. You can check it, right? Okay, so this is all about these things. Okay, now let us come to equation number 3. Let's come to equation number 3. Okay, everything is there. Only thing is Q and WSH. Okay, so Q, I'll just write down here Q. Q is again, what is Q? Okay, Q, you can check it. This is again heat transfer. Okay, heat transfer. Q will be again a heat transfer. Okay, but its unit will be kilojoule per kg. Similarly, what is WSH? It is again work transfer, right? But its unit will be in kilojoule per kg. Is that okay, all of you? Is that okay? All of you, is there any doubt with this one?
No, sir.
Is there any doubt? Let me know. Because further we need to apply this steady flow energy equation to various systems. Then only you should be able to understand. See, you just remember these two equations. Okay, any one of the equation you can remember out of these two. Okay, you need to remember this one equation. Let's say equation number 2, and let's say equation number 4. You remember 1 and 3 or 2 and 4. Then things becomes easy, right? So have you understood? Are you facing any doubt or difficulty in this one? Let me know. Is there any doubt or difficulty you are facing with this one? Okay, so let's conclude the today's session. And in the next session, we will take the application of steady flow energy equation for the various systems like boiler, turbine, compressor. Okay, so today we will conclude, and in the next lecture, we will continue the same.